Hello and welcome to Water in the 505-575. I'm Joni Palmer, your guide on this journey about water in New Mexico. Is your tap water something you ever think about? We invite you to come on a journey with us to discover the hidden facets of keeping you safe and healthy through water. Today, I will be talking with water utility personnel at the Buckman Direct Diversion Facility. Staff at BDD serve the city of Santa Fe and Santa Fe County residential and business water customers. A quick shout out to Bernardine Padilla, Public Relations Coordinator at BDD. Thank you, Bernie, for helping arrange this conversation. Today, I will be talking with Juan Portillo and Randy Sugrue. Thanks for joining us. The first kind of big question, and that I think a lot of people are asking all over the country, is our drinking water safe from the coronavirus?
Our drinking water is very safe from the coronavirus. Federal regulations all the time in the United States require that drinking water treatment processes remove virus and bacterial content from water. We have to remove at least 99.99% of any virus in drinking water, and that's all the time. Those have been regulations in the Safe Drinking Water Act for years and years and years.
So there's no special treatments that need to be made at this particular time, or special precautions to keep the water supply safe?
That's absolutely correct. Our drinking water is so carefully regulated in our country, and we're very fortunate for that, that virus and any disease causing pathogen in drinking water is by law removed from with the treatment process. We have a process of sedimentation and coagulation that removes solids that can harbor bacteria. Here at BDD, we use a microfiltration that filters water down to 1/10 of a micron. That's enough to remove bacteria and most viruses. Then we treat it with ozone to break up organic content. And then by law, drinking water must be treated with a small amount of chlorine to disinfect and keep that water from being able to sustain bacterial and viral growth.
So have you been getting many queries from the public about concerns about their drinking water or the flow from their tap?
Though we haven't received any questions from the public. Again, we don't really have much contact with the public here where we're at. So as far as phone calls and all that, we usually just direct that. If there's any question, we direct it to Bernadine, our spokeslady, or Randy Sugrue. But as at this point, we haven't had any calls regarding this.
Does it surprise you that you haven't gotten any comments, or do you think that the community trusts the work that you're doing?
I feel the community does trust us. Our drinking water supply has been so consistent and regulated in our country for so many years that I don't mean to say people take us for granted, but people trust their drinking water. In our country, 50 years I've been alive, I've always been confident to go to the tap in the kitchen and get a glass of water and drink it, just because we do so rely on the drinking water professionals to take care of that for us. And people just have that kind of built into their confidence.
Then why is there this panic about water right now? Why are people buying considerable amounts of bottled water?
In times of crisis, people worry that the drinking water supply might be impacted, but that's really because we're used to the crisis of the past decade or two of hurricanes in the south or earthquakes on the coast, and that sort of thing certainly can impact the drinking water supply. This health crisis does not impact our drinking water treatment processes or supply. I think it's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, and when people go to the grocery store and buy a lot of toilet paper or buy a lot of or any other produce that might get them through an extended period of a disaster, they naturally buy water as well. But in this case, it kind of is a common sense answer that the water supply is perfectly fine. It's well regulated, it's disinfected, it's clean. We have personnel to run the treatment plants. The treatment plants are not under any kind of crisis management, or they're not impacted by earthquakes or floods, anything like that. The drinking water treatment are in great shape and perfectly prepared to deal with a situation like this.
What would you tell your neighbor if your neighbor came to you and talked to you as someone who works in the water facilities? How would you encourage them or assure them that their water is safe?
That's an interesting question because I've been approached by neighbors before, and I mean, the discussion kind of gets into a point where I feel like most of the community might be not as educated as the kind of treatment we have here. So what I try to do the best is bring up analogies on how we bring removal to all these bacteria and kind of take them step to step. I think they believe there's a water source and it gets to a point and then it goes out to the public. But I think we have taken the steps in educating the community. For example, the past 4 years, we've stepped up our tours from K to 12 schools. And I think that's where it starts. It starts with the kids first, and then they could take it home and tell their parents how, what we showed them. And we just want them to be comfortable to know that we're allowing them in, and so we can show them and educate them more.
So getting people in there, yes, so that they get the sense of the transparency, that what you're doing is not some kind of magic.
One thing we're very proud of here is the responsibility that our water professionals take to be here. We can do a little bit of work from home, but you cannot run a water treatment facility from home. When these guys signed up for this job years ago, that's part of their responsibility, is that if emergencies, crises happen, they need to be on the job. And they've accepted that responsibility. We're here 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. And these guys step up and they make sure that they are here. And it's really a pleasure to work with such a dedicated staff. And I think that reassures the public when we have the opportunity to mention that these guys are always here. We take this very, very seriously. We're always here to make sure that the drinking water quality that we produce is tip-top level and that we're taking good care of our community.
But how does that feel for you all to be essential workers when you may not have considered yourselves that before?
It has not really changed our outlook. Again, that's part of the job we do. We are essential workers. We're as important as the police, firemen that are out there that are taking care of emergencies and preventing public safety issues. We're also here to prevent emergencies and to prevent public health issues. When a guy starts this process, it takes many years to get the level of certification with the state of New Mexico to run a water treatment facility. And over the years, that responsibility does not lessen by any means. And so when a person gets into this field, that responsibility is right there from the day that they walk in the door, that we need to be here. We need to accept that responsibility and take it very, very seriously.
How might you help people to understand that you're essential now and you're always essential?
It's difficult in this profession in a way because we're not visible to the public, such as law enforcement officers and fire personnel. So we really don't have those same opportunities unless we do bring people here to see what we do. But because we generally a water treatment plant is in somewhat of a remote location, it is kind of a challenge to get the word out there. So we appreciate opportunities like this to spread the word. It's always fascinating to see kids come in and see what we do and the cool, complex machinery and filters and such we use to treat water, and just see that light go on. Because again, we are a little bit taken for granted, for good or worse. People just expect to be able to go, grab a glass of water again out of the kitchen sink and have no qualms, no worries, no thought, is this okay for me? Of course it is. That's just how we've been brought up for our entire lives.
It seems like all of you are very passionate and that you are dedicated, especially the kind of work that you have to do during a crisis. So what are some of the rewards, if you can articulate those?
It can be, the hours are long. I worked for years from 5 p.m. till 5 o'clock in the morning. It can be grueling work. You're here in the wintertime. You're out working in snowstorms and rain. But a person also comes to realize there's a great satisfaction in getting that work done and doing a good job. And there's kind of a satisfaction knowing that you're not that well recognized, and yet we still do it. So I really feel like I serve my community. My kids grew up here. They drank the water that I made, me as well. And it's just a real deep sense of satisfaction. I feel that I'm giving back to my community. It's a good job. It's a good career. Pays pretty well. It was an opportunity that I think a lot of people have found there was a little luck involved in getting into it. I didn't know a water treatment operator 20 years ago either. I came to work here, met people, and discovered that, here was a great opportunity and decided to take it, knowing to a great extent that it was not easy. There's a difficulty in long hours, strange schedule, but it's very satisfying in that respect. I really feel that I do give back.
When I was a K through 12er, when we had to write those little one-paragraph reports of what we wanted to become, that used to bother me all the time because I never could decide. I wanted to make a difference, so I put astronaut on there. Oh, that didn't happen. Pretty dang close with this profession I'm in right now, because it's a peace of mind that we're able to provide water right now, especially right now. My eyes are opening up now during this quarantine. Everybody's at home. We've noticed tank levels just drop within hours, and to know that we here, like Randy said, if we were just to take a 10-hour break, let's say we went a 10-hour break, nobody here, that'd be a big problem. I mean, I think we'd go empty in the store. So I'm really happy that we are here to provide that 24/7, 365. And it just, like I said, it's just an honor. It's an honor to become a water treatment operator. And I think in the future, this is going to be one of the top professions as a child to run that little book report.
People really, not only do they not understand what the whole process of water goes through to get to their taps, but they don't understand all the different people who are involved. And so I guess my next question is then, what was your daily routine before COVID-19, and how has it changed?
We come in, of course, it's a 24-hour facility. So when we come in, there's a night shift, with their groggy eyes, ready to go home. We have a tie-in every morning to see what they went through in the night while they were operating the facility. We see any kind of chemical changes they might have made to the facility, so that we're aware when we're going on shift. I have a crew usually of 2 to 3 operators underneath me as a lead. And we coordinate the day. We go over job safety analysis plans of safety first here as always. We go over the day, what we're going to do, coordinate everybody in their own direction. We do a lot of sampling so that we could verify our analyzers. We got great state-of-the-art analyzers here, but there's nothing better than the human samples. So we like to go and sample ourselves and make sure that those analyzers are working. We can't put total trust in those, analyzers all the time. We want to make sure that they're working properly. So, that's just recommended by the EPA. But nothing's really changed. Like I said, the only thing that's really changed are these guidelines that were put in place. But even at that point, we were always using masks. We have a lot of chemicals here that require PPE, pretty much the same as what we're using now because of this COVID-19. We're involved in that. We disinfect the control room. We all share the same control room, 24/7, 365. I mean, as far as that, like Randy said, our mindset's just always been the same. We take our job serious before, post, and pre-COVID-19. That's pretty much the only thing we're doing is just following the guidelines at a more strict manner and washing our hands. Well, if we're working on a project together on a pump and we're close proximity, we throw on the masks, throw on the gloves. It's just for a little bit, guys. It's just do this and get this done and make sure that we do this the right way so that we could take precautionary measures. So as far as that, it's business as usual.
Right. I mean, and that's really interesting to me because I thought there would be, as in so many realms of employment, that there would be some drastic measures, that you would have some huge challenges. But because you're always thinking about emergencies, and that's just a part of your mindset.
My job has changed considerably.
Oh, okay.
Of the guidelines from the federal government, state government. I've been working from home as much as possible, coming in once or twice a week for 3 or 4 hours to access the city's data network, the computer network, to talk with the guys. When I'm at home, I'm on the phone. I'm doing video conferences such as this, once, twice a day, maybe more. As far as phone calls, I'm constantly on the phone with the water operations guys, just to see how things are going, just to see if they have concerns, to get updates. Besides just using certain chemicals to treat water and filters, we also have huge pumps. Here at BDD, Buckman Direct Diversion, we pump water almost 11 miles up to the treatment facility from the Rio Grande River. And so we have pumps, 700 horsepower pumps that are pushing that water up the hill. And there's just constant maintenance going on all the time too. And I need to know if a pump is going to be down for a week, how do we have to compensate as far as quantities of water we can pump through the night, quantities of water that we can distribute to the city. And as Juan said, always cleaning. We have 8 million gallons worth of storage basins that we put the raw river water into so that sediment can settle out. Those basins build up several feet of sludge or mud over the course of a year. Those have to be drained once a year. Somebody has to get in there with heavy equipment and remove that solid material. So there's just always many projects going on simultaneously, and sort of insurance plan for water supply here in Santa Fe, 4 sources to make sure that the community is always well supplied. During the big drought in the late 90s, 2000, when the city had to go into pretty drastic water restrictions, we realized that we did not really have the sources that we needed. And we designed and built the Buckman Direct Diversion. We have not go into any kind of drastic restrictions since that time. So it's really working well for our community.
Thanks for that context. And I think that, for the people who are listening, that also putting these treatment facilities into a larger context, that there's a whole system that's at work and that you're relying on each other. So do you think people will have a better understanding of the importance of water after the pandemic, that they will understand the process, the system, the work that you all do?
I think they will, after we talked about people, hoarding bottled water to a certain extent. And I think after these many months of being at home, people are coming to a better realization that we're still here. This is not impacting how we do our jobs. There's no restriction that you can't water your lawn. You can't wash your car. That's not what this type of crisis is about. And I hope that will reassure people and bring it to mind that we're here and they can depend on us. And so moving forward, we're going to keep doing what we do. I mean, again, we love to have people come out and see the facility. We love to get out to community events, and hopefully we'll be having community events.
What do things look like for you all on the other side of this pandemic? New programs? Are you going to need to hire new people? Are you going to change some of your protocols?
We're always trying to come up with new programs. We have Bernie Padilla here continually looking for new ways to get out and spread the word to the public and get our message and what we do out to the community. We generally participate in community events. The Santa Fe Century Bicycle Ride was going to be here in just a few days, canceled. I mean, that's the best thing to do at this point. Those events will come back, and we get out, and we one of our favorite things to do, of course, is we provide water to these events, outdoor events. Just relate to the public, let them know that we're here and we're happy to talk to them, invite them to come take a look at the facility. As far as here at the treatment facility, again, we're prepared. We try to be very prepared for this sort of emergency, this type of crisis.
But I would really hope after this is over that we do have a lot more people coming interested and come take a look at our facility. Whoever's watching this, come out here and take a look for yourself. Get a little educated and see what we have to offer here. So
is there anything that keeps you up at night? Is there anything that you have larger concerns that you need to think about that are always on your mind?
I just hope as a country we all get through this, because it's just an awful, awful situation. That's what's on my mind. as far as making really excellent quality, safe drinking water, these guys do a great job. I mean, we've got this. We've always known something could happen that was going to test our resilience a little bit, but these guys are coming through with flying colors.
We are going to the tap a lot more. So thinking about what it takes to get that tap water there, but also having confidence, and that you have confidence in your staff, and that then the community, because you all are so dedicated, can have confidence, can trust the work that you're doing.
I mean, we're just like everybody else. Apart from this facility, going home, I'm a father of 2 children. I got an elderly mom, an elderly father. I mean, I have the same fears as any American citizen, any human being in this world has at the moment, not knowing, but this has been a great job knowing that I'm coming here actually making a difference. It helps me a little bit. This is my distraction. It's a great distraction because I'm doing something, making a difference. So I'm going to end it there, and just like to thank everybody for tuning in.
I think that's a really great way to end this episode. Thank you all for the work that you're doing, the hard work, the long hours, and thank you very much. Thank you for listening to this episode about our unsung water heroes in New Mexico. This project is supported by the UNM Grand Challenges Initiative, specifically the Sustainable Water Resources Team. Starting with the interdisciplinary team comprised of faculty, staff, and students from across the UNM main campus. Thanks to Heather Himmelberger, Francine Stefan, and the rest of the staff at the Southwest Environmental Finance Center. Many thanks to the faculty and students in the Department of Film and Digital Arts. Thank you, James Stone and Dan Galasini, who worked with undergraduate students to produce this podcast. Thank you, Lizzie Embick, Jace Redoblado, and Felina Martinez for all of your hard work producing the podcast. And thank you to my research assistants, Samantha Stroud and Melissa Madrigal, undergraduate students in the Departments of Geography and Environmental Studies and Community and Regional Planning. We appreciate Eileen and the In-Betweens, a local social justice indie folk group who have graciously allowed us to use their fabulous music in this podcast. And last but not least, a big thanks to the water utility personnel in Santa Fe. If you would like to learn more about this project, please visit our website, efla.unm.edu. Thanks, and see you next time.